Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to review the new Tomzon A31 Flying Pig, funny name I know, mini LED drone right after this. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look at what all comes in the box, and then we'll take this guy up and do a test flight here in the basement because this is relatively small. I was told it's more of an indoor flyer, but I have no reasons why or concerns why you couldn't fly this outside. But I thought I'd go ahead and just fly it indoors because it'll be easier to see these LED lights when there's a little bit less light, unless of course you flew it outside at nighttime. So let's just pull out the foam insert, and here's the instruction manual. You guys can see it goes by the name of the Flying Pig. I don't know what that name is chosen and what that has to do with the LED lights, but it is what it is. Many of these products that do come from China do tend to have some rather bizarre English names. So here is the drone, and we'll go over some things here and then with it, and then we'll go over the controller and then whatever accessories it comes with this. Now this is a 2-battery version. Here are the batteries. I may have the other one, might be in the other room. I was charging up both of them, but you get 2 of these. I think they were 710 milliamp. It's probably not going to show up. 1S LiPo battery. It charges off of a USB-C cable, which they give you one right here to charge this guy up. It's not going to take too long, probably somewhere around an hour or so to charge one of these up. Let's go look at the drone now, and then we'll look at the controller. Now, a few things you may notice with this drone is it looks like it has optical flow, and they do advertise a version in the manual, but this one is just hollow. Actually, I have the battery inside of here, so I said I thought I left it in the other room. It's just that I have it inserted, and then there's the other one. So like I said, there is 2 batteries. And you may not be able to see it here, but this is just a hollow hole. There's no optical flow in this particular model. LEDs light up all over, so I'll show that in a second. But before I get to that, I want to point out that it looks like it has a camera on the front. There's no mention anywhere. You can see it swivels of this being a camera. And I've actually contacted Tomzon, and there actually isn't a functional camera. It may be that they plan on doing a version of the camera, and just part of the design process, it was easier to manufacture several versions. So this may be a camera in there. It sure looks like one, but there's no Wi-Fi broadcasted from this, and there's no app, so you cannot use the camera. Very, very unusual. There, I don't really know what to tell you. In nearly 5 years of reviewing mostly drones over the years, up until recently, I've never seen a drone come with a camera that wasn't functional, but that is the case. So this camera here doesn't work, but like I said, it does look like there's at least a lens in there, and there's no optical flow on the bottom of this guy. So if you would pop the battery in there, I can show you guys the lights. Now it's not going to be bound to the controller, so it's going to want to continue to flash because it's not, whenever you bind it up, that's whenever it's going to go solid. So let's go ahead and press that power button. You guys can see it's got those flashing LEDs, which I said those should go solid. They're all around the base of the propellers. These are tri-blade props, so you got to get good lift. So that may reduce the flight time a bit. I've not had a chance to test this one, so it just came in the mail yesterday. So I don't know exactly what the flight time will be on that, but lots of times tri-props, there's more friction, so it tends to cause a little bit less flight time, but you get better lift. And then you've got these, you can see some lights flashing in here on the eyes, and then there's a red light here in the rear, which helps for orientation when you're flying this drone. So yeah, pretty neat LED lights. We'll see what those look like once we get it up here and fly it around. I'll probably maybe turn the lights down for just a moment so you guys can see the lights better, but obviously it'll be difficult to see the drone very well if I have not enough light here in the basement. And then here is the little peanut kind of controller they lots of times call these, small little controller. Here are some extra props in case you would bust them. They give you a full set of extra tri-blade props. And here is the controller. Pretty basic little guy, but rather decently fuel in this construction. It does have altitude hold, so it'll make it easier to fly. You can always tell a drone's altitude hold whenever the left stick self-centers. So your throttle up and down, your yaw, your pitch, forward and back, and your roll. This is an auto takeoff and landing button. You do both sticks down and out to start the props, and you probably have to do that and then press the button and it will take off. Both sticks down and in will do your gyro calibration, which will set the level for the drone so it doesn't have any tilt in it. Here's your on and off switch. This button, as far as I can tell, is not functional. The instruction manual does allude to it being a video button. Again, that probably because they may have plans down the road to make this a camera version. Over here, you've got your rates, your 3 rates. I believe that was on, let me double check the instruction manual. One of them is the rates on this right. There's 3 rates, a high, a middle, and a low. Let me just grab the instruction manual, and that is the top button. Your 3 rates, and this bottom one is your LED switch, which I believe that's going to turn the LEDs on and off for the drone. You can calibrate the trim, I should say, or adjust the trim by holding this button in on the top, and then you can go which way you want. I think you have to press in on that right stick also, but usually you don't have to mess with trimming these drones as long as you get the gyro calibrated good. But yes, just hold in that button, don't let go, and then control the right stick and dial the direction you want to trim. So you just hold this in and then the direction that you want to trim. It also does have 360 flips. That's going to be pressing in on the stick here and then the direction you want to flip. Pretty common for these small controllers to have that. The left side here, a quick press is going to put you into headless mode. So if you're a beginner and you want to use that feature, that's where you don't have to know your orientation. It's just whichever way you push the stick. But that's not a good way to learn to fly. I don't ever test headless mode in my reviews. And then a long press will enter into 1 key return. That's just simply using the headless mode feature. The drone will fly back the opposite direction it was facing at takeoff. So that can become that's not a very reliable feature, but a lot of these drones use that. If you're flying out in front of you and you lose orientation, you can hit that and it will fly back to you. But remember, if you fly it over your head behind you, it's just going to keep flying away from you. So you have to keep it in front of you for that feature to work. So, you know, again, a nice little controller. I think it takes 3 AAA batteries, so we'll get in there. I don't have any batteries in it at the moment. And yeah, you get these 2 batteries, like I said. And pretty cool looking little this is more, I'll call it a mini LED drone, but you know, some people might prefer this as a whoop or a whoop because it's got the ducted fans and the tri-blade props, so it's going to have good lift. And of course, these are going to make very nice the ducted fans are going to, the ducts are going to protect the props, what I'm getting at. So you hit walls and stuff, you're not too likely to break a prop. You're more likely to throw a prop and lose it and then have to replace it with one of the spare ones in the package. So that should cover everything. Again, I don't know the flight time because I just got this in, so I usually do get flight times, but if we fly it long enough in the review to where it does go dead, I'll try to include the flight time that we get during that. And I don't know exactly, again, the charging time on the batteries. Those are harder to gauge. Lots of times if I don't get it when I'm doing it, I'll just kind of give you an estimate out of the manual or just from my previous experience charging batteries of similar size. All right, guys, so that wraps up the table review portion of this drone for the Tomzon Flying Pig A31. Be right back and we'll take it up for a flight review here in my basement, so be right back. All right, guys, so I have the A31 Flying Pig out here ready to do a test flight here in my basement. As you guys can see, once you have it bound up and it's connected to the controller, it does cycle through the lights, which I thought it probably did, but I wasn't for certain whenever I was showing you it in the table review. But yeah, it does all kinds of neat LED patterns flashing, and then it cycles through the colors. I have my light out here so you guys can see that a little bit better. And then I'll probably turn the light back on so we have better light to actually do the flying down here. But yeah, that's pretty darn cool. That is rather unique. I've had LED drones in the past that usually had just rings around them. I've never actually had one that had lights right around the actual propellers. So let's go ahead and we'll take it up and fly it and see how well this guy flies. So set this down and move back. And hopefully this shows up in my head cam. To do the gyro calibration, it was both sticks down and in. You can see the lights flash there, hopefully. Let's go ahead now and let's see if we press the auto takeoff. Oh, it does take off, okay. Instruction manual kind of alluded to the fact that you may have to unlock the props first, but that's just if you want to do a manual takeoff. Okay, so that's really stable. Very nice. That's lowest rate. Let's go into middle rate and highest rate. So actually, I think it started out in middle. So the yaw does increase, as you guys can see. That's lowest rate, there's middle rate, and there's highest rate. This flies really, really nice. Sometimes these drones can get a bit skittish indoors with all that lift, and they tend to want to drift. And wow, this one really, I mean, as soon as I took off and it didn't drift on me, I knew this was probably going to be a winner. Really nice for flying indoors. Make sure I get it up high enough to see. And I don't see a reason why you couldn't fly this outdoors as long as it's relatively calm. You probably want the highest rate. Let's do some 360 flips while we got plenty of battery. So let's see how it flips. Let's get it down a little so we don't hit the ceiling. Let's see if I can try that again. Well, oh, that's right. It's right stick pressed in. I was doing the rates. Let's try that again. Let's see if the LEDs turn off first. Yeah. If you want to save a little battery power, it does keep the rear one on and the eyes on for orientation, but it turns off the colorful lights. Let's turn those back on. I like the look of them. Now let's go ahead and try the flip now. Press in on the... Yeah, nice. I figured it would flip good. Let's go down a little more, because all these drones will raise up and you don't want to hit the ceiling. Let's do a back flip. Really good. Let's do a left flip. And let's do a right flip again. And a forward flip. Yeah, flip's nice. So yeah, it's just pressing in on the right stick. For some reason I was hitting the rates button to try to do my flips. All those LEDs I'm sure will flash once it gets to low battery. And then at that point you'll be in a low voltage. And the drones always disable the ability to flip, because with the voltage sag on the battery, you're not going to have the oomph from the battery to recover from that flip. Yeah, this flies great. With 2 batteries, I mean, I'm super impressed. I mean, these toys can be real hit and miss. But Tomzon, you know, I've had a few Tomzon things in the past that are pretty decent. And real impressed with this one. LEDs are really popular now. My computer behind me has got those kind of LEDs that change colors, and that's a nice little touch, because it's becoming difficult for these drone manufacturers now to come up with new ideas. You know, we've got altitude hold. You know, the more expensive ones have GPS, optical flow, which they're going to have a version of that on this one. It's nice to help hold position, but on these LEDs, it's a nice little touch. Someone might like that. I think it's pretty darn cool. Again, I can't really open it up in here because I'm sort of confined in area. So outdoors might be a little more ideal, but it's, you know, it's kind of windy today, and these little whoops don't do great in the wind. And it's a little chilly out here today. Nothing like it was a week ago. Well, actually, a week and a half ago, probably. Actually, I guess it was a week ago. Whenever it was, we were, yes, it was, maybe it was 2. I could lose track. We were like at 0. We were below freezing for like 2 weeks straight, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, this flies really nice. Again, if you buy this and you open it up and you say, well, what the heck is this camera on the front? Yeah, I don't know. It's just really strange that all I can think of is they're going to include a camera version with a Wi-Fi chip which would let you record the video to an app, but this one does not have that. So don't freak out if you get this and then you wonder, well, how do I get the camera to work? What app do I use? How do I make it? How do I connect to it? This doesn't have any of that. They've just included a camera. It does seem like an odd extra choice whenever every little bit like that costs more money to manufacture. So it is a little strange, but it doesn't have it. I kind of thought for a moment that it might just be, they might put a bulb up here and have a LED in the front that kind of allude to that in the box. But of course you'd see a bulb there, and that's just a lens. Boy, that is so stable. There's no airflow down here, but look at that. I mean, look at that. That looks like it's got optical flow at the very least, but that hole in the bottom is just an empty hole. In fact, I even mentioned it because this will be going, never got a low voltage. This will be going on sale in a few days here on Amazon, and the listing had optical flow listed, but they're going to correct that because this one does not have optical flow. So you guys will see I shouldn't be able to flip now. See, I press it and it doesn't do anything because it's saying, hey, you don't have enough battery power now. Now if you flew this outdoors or someplace a little bit more aggressive flying, you're probably getting a little shorter flight time than this. Again, I'll try to remember to include the flight time here, just going by the video. Sometimes these drones can fly for quite a long time off the low voltage. Like they trip the low voltage a little earlier than they should have. So sometimes you can get, I've had drones go 2 minutes or more on low voltage, which is kind of crazy. This one's going pretty good, and now we're losing power. Okay, so there is the low voltage cut off completely. The drone is completely cut off to save the LiPo, because the LiPo battery, you don't want to run those too low. So that's the reason why the manufacturers cut the power completely, so you don't damage that LiPo battery. All right, guys, pretty cool. Really, 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 and I can't stress enough, nice flyer, really smooth. It's not skittish. It doesn't want to, you know, float off on me. Really smooth yaw controls, even in the highest rate. A beginner would be fine with the lowest rate indoors, because if you bump the wall, you're not going to break anything. Just if it holds altitude well. As you guys saw there towards the end, I was hovering in front of me almost like I had optical or GPS hold, because it worked really, really well. So highly recommend this drone, especially if you don't need a camera, even though this one has that non-functional one. This is a nice little drone. I'll include a purchase link to this. The purchase link may not be active when this is first published, this video, because I was told it wouldn't be active on Amazon until Monday. Today is Friday, the 26th of February. So if I post this today or tomorrow and you're interested in this, I don't know if it'll go to the product. It'll probably take you to it and just say currently unavailable. If you're interested, just check back on March 1st around there and see if it is available to purchase on Amazon. All right, guys, that wraps up the review of the Tomzon A31 Flying Pig. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Be sure, if you're new to the channel, that you click subscribe, click the bell as well, so you know whenever I do upload new videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Any kind of likes I can get helps this channel a ton. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.